Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. We have Ken Walker, owner of Walker Marketing and Branding Consulting. He's a big name in Colombia right now. You've probably seen him on all the social media sites. He's reviews food in Colombia, but he has a start in the food industry, hot dogs, having his own place, and now doing real estate and brand deals. So I hope you enjoy it. If you want to check him out, it's at kenwalkertherealtor.com. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. I am Dr. Randy here with Dr. Tom, and we are Colombia's hottest podcast, bringing the hottest guests. Today, we have Ken Walker, owner of Walker Marketing and Branding Consultations. You're a big name in Colombia. Most people know who you are now because of your Instagram.
I hope so.
But previously, I'm still meeting people who knew you because of your restaurant and your food. The food world prior to becoming an influencer.
That was a whole thing. That was I actually quit my job because what got me here was Otis Spunkmeyer called me pretty much to work in the field of biology. That was what my degree was biology.
Oh,
Yeah. So I did that. I hated my job. I was in an all-white lab coat, all-white room, doing all-white test samples.
so stuffy.
Listeria coli count. I was just like, this can't be life. So one day I just came in. I was just like, you know what? Trashed everything, and I was just like, yeah, I'm out.
Yep.
And I saw this guy online, scrubby beard, and he said, you too for $24.99 can build a hot dog stand. And I was just like, this guy seems pretty legit. Like $24.99.
I trust this salesman with scruffy beard.
Anything with hot dogs, I trust.
Right. So I built my hot dog stand from like wooden products from Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Home Depot. Wow. And so, I took it up to DHEC, and they was just like, you actually did a really good job on this.
No way.
Really?
I did that. Sucked. I had a spot outside of the library. Didn't do that well. I was doing just enough to go by. And me and my dad, we found a guy who was going to Black Bike Week, and he had a trailer. And so I was like, yo, dude, how much would you give me the trailer for? He was just like, we're just barely running. So it's like $300. So me and my dad took it, reconstructed it, and turned it into a Ken's All-Star cart.
Wow.
So literally I did that. And I was about to quit food, which was the crazy part because it's like at this time, it was like 2012. It's like 2014. I was like, all right, maybe this isn't for me. And like it got close to like 2016. At the time, I don't know if you guys remember Too Fat to Fly.
Too fat to fly. No.
They did like the stuffed wings. Like they were on Oprah and everything else. Like they were like the hottest thing in Colombia. And I'll never forget, I was like, I had called my mom, my dad. I was like, I'm about to quit. Like, I don't think this is for me. Maybe I should just go back to the medical field. And they were just like, yeah, you're not fit for working for other people. They were very honest with me growing up because growing up, I used to cut Left Eye's grass. So with TLC, I used to cut her grass because we all stayed in like East Atlanta. And so I'll never forget, I went to Atlanta and my grandfather stayed in Decatur. And he was like, hey, can you go pick me up some seafood? And I was like, it's my birthday. Like, why am I going to pick you up something? He was just like, but I heard it's really good. So I got in line at like 11 o'clock, and I was like number 68, like waiting for this plate. And I was just like, all right, this food must be good. And I'm like, I'm not going to wait for hours. Then lo and behold, 4 o'clock hits, and I'm like, I'm still in this line.
5 hours
your
you
birthday.
waited?
For seafood. And I was just like, this is a cool concept. Like, they just do like, shrimp potatoes, like the Southern boil. And I did it, and I brought it back to Colombia. My very first day, I had like 37 people. And it just kept taking off. And then officially, Tom's English Muffins reached out to me and was just like, would you like to be a part of a national food truck competition? I was like, click. I was like, because it was fake. Because they were like, you can win $25,000. And I was like, sir, I'm too broke to play these games. And they called me back and they was like, how about this? We're going to send you a check. And you get to cash it, keep all the prompts and everything. And I was like, cool. So I cashed it in their bank. And I was like, oh, this is real. It's like, yeah, but instead of like the 3 weeks, you now have 4 days to tell us your concept. I was like, God, okay, cool. My favorite movie at the time was The Pineapple Express. So I was like, I'm going to do a sandwich called The Pineapple Express. It was a chicken burger, teriyaki jerk sauce, jalapeno cheese on top of a Thomas English muffin. And one of the things I'm better at than cooking is marketing.
Yeah.
So they were just like, yeah, you just have to market. And it was like me versus literally every other state. And every week I just kept knocking out people like far as the competition goes. And I think the last 2 weeks was me, California, New York. I ended up knocking out New York. And then California pissed me off because the guy, I'll never forget his food truck. He had a grilled cheese food truck, and I was just like,
Grilled cheese.
right. He did different things. It was still
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But he made me mad because he was just like the last week of the competition. He put on his social media. He was like, "Oh, I'm going against South Carolina." He was like, "I can take a break," and he literally went to Las Vegas and like stopped the competition. Like he was like, he didn't tell people to vote for him. He was just like, "It's South Carolina.
So
Like, nobody
cocky.
knows
No
about you all."
kidding.
And I was just like, "Oh, this asshole." So I saw it, and I was just like, "All right, cool." And I just ended up doing way better than he did. I ended up winning the competition, and they told me I beat him out by like 100,000 votes.
Wow.
So they gave me $25,000. I started my restaurant called The Twist. From there, I was like, I have a national food truck competition. Like, what can I do to beat that? And I was just like, you know what? I always wanted the Guinness World Record. So then I applied for the Guinness World Record. And it took me like a year and a day to get it. So now I still hold the title for the world's most expensive crab cake.
No
Really?
way.
Yeah. So I dabbed that. Then Food Network reached out to me. I met Guy Fieri. He was mad cool. Like
That's
probably
sweet.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
one of the coolest people you
Yeah.
ever meet. I didn't know so much stuff in Guy's Grocery Games was like a studio. So I thought it was like based off
Yeah,
the show,
yeah.
I thought it was a grocery store. So you going into a studio and like they're telling you like, hey, don't pick that up because that's old. It's like, why would you, what? That's the day of the competition. Like, yeah, don't go down this aisle because this is this. I'm just like, oh man.
No kidding.
And I messed that up, I would definitely say, because at the time I was by the booth where the judges are. So on TV and in real life is two different things. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like everything the judges were saying, I thought they were talking to me. They was like, "Chef, your toast is burning." I'm like, "Oh, no. It's like, wait, that's not me." It's like, "No, we're not talking to you." I was like, "Why are you talking so close to me?"
Right.
And I did pretty well, but it was a girl. She was great. She ended up beating me out. We're still mad cool to this day. She's won like 2 other competitions. But I took that, I ran with it, and I got a proclamation for Richland County. And then after that, I was like, I'm gonna quit food.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Columbia Family Chiropractic, with 3 easy-to-get-to locations, one in Forest Acres, which is by Trader Joe's, one in O'Neill Court by the DMV, and one in the Northeast by Sand Hills. You'll be sure to have somewhere near you. They offer a ton of services from corrective care, on-site digital x-rays, spinal decompression for bulging or herniated discs, dry needling for injuries, pediatric care, and a Class 4 laser. They accept all your major insurances. And if you mention this ad, you'll get a discount on your first appointment. Check out their website at cfc4health.com or Google Columbia Family Chiropractic. That's cfc4health.com.
And what year's this? What year you quit?
So I quit food in like 2021.
21.
Right. So like I quit food in 2021. And it wasn't because of the pandemic, because I actually did very well in the pandemic. The problem was it was just kind of like now it became a job.
Right.
And so my cousin, my oldest cousin, he was like, "Hey, you should do real estate. You're just great at it." And I was just like, "I've never done real estate." He's like, "You can sell it." So I did it. And then in the first couple of months, it was crazy. HGTV reached out. They was like, "Yo, you keep going viral. We would love to have you on the show." And I was just like, "Okay, cool." So most people don't know this story. I turned them down the first time.
HGTV?
Yeah.
What?
So the first time they reached out to me, the producer was like an asshole. So the girls I had, they were a lesbian couple. And he kept prying and prying and prying and prying. And they came back to me after the last interview. They was like, "Ken, we're going to do it. We're going to do it based off you. But this is what he was asking us." And I was like, like, dude, like you told me the questions you were going to ask. But then he wanted to pry because he was like, "I have to make it a show." And I'm like, they gave you enough because they're already, lesbians in the South.
What do you mean prying?
So he was just like, one of my clients, she always wore like this African thing around her. She was like, "So what tribe were you from?"
That's what the interviewer asked?
Yeah. And she was just
Oh,
like,
God.
"What?" And she was like, "Dude, we just wear these for like style." And she was just
Right.
like, the questions he was asking was just like
Yeah.
irate.
Yeah.
So then I went out to him. I was just like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do the show." He's like, "Well, this will be your first and last opportunity." I was like, "Oh, yeah, that sounds cool." And I clicked and I hung up the phone. And then months later, the guy I know now, he reached out. He's like, "Yeah, we fired him. Would you like to do it again?" And that's how I ended up on HGTV.
Wow.
Wow. So when did you start putting the camera on yourself then? Like where did you realize like, all right, I'm gonna turn this camera and do it myself?
Honestly, that happened on a bet. So like, I was just good at marketing without me using it.
Yeah.
And the thing that turned me around was my friend Rael. I know she's gonna repost this. She bet me on St. Patty's Day And she was just like, I grew up here. I bet you don't know a spot that I've never been to. And I'm like, I'm an explorer. Like, of course I know a spot. So I went to a spot called Molto Vino. It was off Divine Street.
Yeah.
They had the whole wine
Yes.
bar.
Yeah.
And I posted it. And I was just like, I should probably talk. And I was just like, boom, 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 boom. And I posted it. And in like 30 minutes, it was like at 3,000 views. Then it jumped up to like 10,000.
Wow.
And then people just kept DMing, was like, yo, you should do more of these. I was like, okay. And the weirdest part about it is I hate to really watch other people eat food or chew. That's like my pet peeve. Like, I do not, like, if I'm in a restaurant, I'm like, eyes on my plate. I don't want to see you eat, anything like that. And it just really took off in a direction that I never expected.
That's wild. So you weren't sitting there like creating a concept or anything. It literally was that, and then people wanted more.
They just wanted more. They were just
I
more
mean,
like,
what in the heck?
what are you doing?
I mean, when you got it, you got it.
And I didn't think I had it. That's the crazy part.
I want to. So there's a couple things I want to go back to. Bike Week. Most people don't know about that. I had no clue about it.
Okay, so
Can you walk us through what it was like and any stories from that?
Bike Week is
It's in Myrtle Beach,
it's in Myrtle Beach,
and it's a
So,
full week.
a full week. The hype people only go like Thursday, Thursday through Saturday. Sunday morning, you're trying to recover.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went, which is crazy. The first time I actually went was with my dad. And we had so much fun. Like my uncles, they all had bikes. And the amount of stuff that you do see is kind of like, if they were to take Freaknik 96 and put it in Myrtle Beach, you'd be like, all right, that's it.
So it's a lot. There's bikes everywhere, motorcycles everywhere.
Yeah, you barely
And-
notice them.
And what happens there? I always so there's 2 bike weeks, right?
Yes.
And I always hear about them, but I've never really like talked to anybody who's been
Girls
there.
Gone Wild mixed with Fight Club, right?
Yeah, it was
Mixed with leather motorcycle jackets.
Yeah, anytime you get a bunch of hype dudes off testosterone,
Right.
and you get pretty ladies, it's gonna be a fight.
Yeah.
But then again, the fight usually ends because more women are walking by. So you're just like, oh, I forgot what we was fighting about. So that happens. And it's like the whole city is like you don't even care that you're staying at a cheap motel. And I mean like the motel, like as soon as you walk outside, like you're at your car.
There's a lot of those in Myrtle Beach.
Right.
Yep.
I did not realize that until I was like, this is
Yeah.
a blast from the past. And a Murphy bed. I haven't seen that since like Home Alone. It's like this bed pulls out. But yeah, it was a great experience. I didn't know what to expect. And I grew up in like East Atlanta. So Freaknik ended right when I was like old enough to like really understand it. All before was kind of like I would go down there with like my older cousins and stuff like that. But now I'm just like, I missed it.
So you don't go there anymore now.
No, I go back home, but we don't have like Freaknik.
Yeah. And were they good customers?
Yeah, they were like it was definitely a time
Yeah.
there. They were great people, and the one thing about like anytime you go to the events like that, they love to eat because they're already dehydrated from like the alcohol, and so you shove them like some tacos, some hot dogs. They're just like, thank you. I'm like, dude, I didn't even put ketchup on it. It's like, don't even matter. Just give it to me.
I always kind of like being around bikers because I feel like they're tough and they kind of hold the law, but they don't really mess with people that don't mess with them.
They don't like unless
Mind
you
your own
just
business.
violate, just truly like
Right.
say something or like you disrespect, like, you know, they all have their own like jackets and everything
Right.
that they wear. But a lot of times if you just leave them alone, they leave you alone.
Yes.
And they have some of the great like they have stories because they travel so much
Right.
and they're in different groups. So you just be like, wow, you really are like a well-traveled individual. Like I never would have thought that you would have
Culture.
came with like, you know, these kind of stories. Like, oh yeah, that time we went to Niagara Falls and we went to, I was like, oh, okay, you went there. I wouldn't have thought that you would have gone.
That's cool.
So yeah, I like it.
So hot, and then I want to go back to hot dogs because we've been talking about this for the last few podcasts. What percentage of people that you were selling hot dogs to would get a plain hot dog?
Oh, I would say maybe 10.
Dang, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like
So
maybe
1 out of
10.
10.
Like no mustard,
No,
relish, anything. Just
But they usually weren't from the South. I always say that. Like when I always asked them, they were like, "Oh, I'm from DC." Oh, it's like, "Oh, I'm from Jersey." And I'm just like, "Oh, okay, cool."
yeah, because Southern hot dogs have chili and all kinds of stuff.
Slaw and like the works. And matter of fact, they kind of look at you differently if you have a hot dog stand with no chili. They're just like, "So what do you sell?" Like you just do ketchup and mustard?
I never heard of chili. My entire life, I never heard of anybody putting chili on a hot dog.
Really?
Guy's Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was Sloppy Joes I'd heard of,
Okay.
because of like Tommy Boy and a few
Right.
movies like that. But I'd never seen a Sloppy Joe, and I'd never heard of putting chili on a hot dog for sure.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely go to public schools here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Sloppy Joe was like the remake of barbecue sandwiches we had. Like they just remade into Sloppy Joe.
Oh,
Yeah, they would just crush it up.
okay.
Public
All
schools.
right.
and-
Those were my questions going back. Now we can keep rolling.
So I guess how many places have you interviewed or reviewed? I guess at this point, do you have a ballpark?
like over 80 something.
Really?
Yeah.
And then what's your regimen for that? Do you pick like 5 a week? Or is it just kind of wherever you're going? If you haven't been there, you just shoot.
And honestly, it's basic. Like sometimes it's just off a whim. Like I'm one of those people. Like I'll ride down the street and I'll be talking. And I'm just like, oh, what is
Yeah.
that? And I'll just stop
Just
over
pop
and be
in.
like, what are you guys doing over here? Oh, we do this. Can you show me? Oh, okay, cool. And other than that, like people book me, and I tell them like automatically, like, hey, if you book me,
Yeah.
you're not paying for a positive, review. What you're doing is you're paying for my
Whatever.
platform.
Yeah.
And the people that work for me. Other than that, I'm not gonna just come and be
Right.
like, oh my God, your food is so good.
So you're giving them the real deal no matter
Yeah,
what.
I'm just like, I'm not here to
this is
trash
average.
you, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then a lot of people have this fear because I've cooked and won awards for it.
Right.
They'll take forever to like sometimes
Prep
bring my
your-
food out.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, dude, it's a sandwich.
Yeah.
And they got their food, like they came here after me and they got their food. So I have to be, I try my best to just be patient with them.
And
But
then,
you could be incognito though, right? But you don't
well,
go
when your
incognito?
camera's out.
Yes.
Well, no, he has glasses that
Yeah.
show.
Well, do you ask for permission at all?
Nah, sometimes
You just
don't
do
know.
it.
I just film.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the biggest problem that I've found here. People who want to do what I do, they're so afraid of pulling out something because
Right.
of how people look at you.
Right.
So when you pull out a camera, people are just
Right.
like you're on a show of cheaters. It's like, am I getting
Yeah.
caught next? And so it's like you have to be pretty cool with just being like, all right, hey, I'm about to eat this food.
Yeah.
Most people just have a fear of like pulling out a camera.
Right. Yeah, I guess that was one of my questions. Is have you ever felt intimidated just being because you're mainly by yourself when you're doing this, right?
Yeah.
You don't have like an entourage. You're just walking in, you're doing it, and you're just filming,
Yeah,
and like no worries, nothing.
nothing.
A lot of eyeballs on you, I imagine. Like, do people come over, especially that recognize you,
Yeah.
and sit there and kind of
And
watch
they get
it?
weird
It
sometimes.
gets
Yeah,
weird.
they get weird. I had a incident that happened at Red Robin's out of all places. And I was in one of those small booths and a guy just kept coming over. He was like, hey.
Hey there,
So you
Kenny.
eating? He's like, so I'm going to be on film? I'm like, I just want to eat my burger. He's like, but it looks good.
Let
I
me
was
get
just
in
like,
that
sir.
background.
I was like, it's a personal space thing. And his wife came over. She's like, I'm so sorry.
Right.
He saw you and I just couldn't stop him from coming over. And I was just like, it's cool. It's just, when you talk to me this close.
Yeah.
And in a weird way.
And a weird way, like you're talking so seductive.
Yes.
And I was just like, no, I'm just eating a burger, dude. I don't. It's okay.
Let me whisper in
Right.
your ear.
Oh, that was onions.
No, what do you recommend fans do? Let's give fans advice if they see
Okay.
you out there and you're eating.
Oh wow, we just had a whole group discussion about this.
Yeah,
Like,
what do you do? How do you do it normally? Because I know Randy wants to hop in. If he ever sees you out, he's going to do something weird to you.
No, I did see you. I came up to you. Yeah.
Did he do
it's-
anything weird?
No,
Okay.
he didn't. No, he wasn't like actually like trust me, people can get. But you
Yeah.
know what? I had to tell people from other states who do it here, they're not used to the hands-on. And I try to tell them like you're in the South, where it's not like California or
Yeah.
Miami where they're kind of used to seeing people and then being like, oh, okay, that's such and such. Here, they're just like you're tangible, so they're gonna touch you.
Right.
So they're gonna be
Right.
like, "Hey, you!"
Yeah.
You're just like, "Oh no, not my neck." Okay. It's like, "Hey, how are you? Great. Thank you for watching my show." It's like, "Yeah, we watch everything you do." I'm like, "Don't say it
I
like
got
that."
posters on my wall.
And like one time I had an incident, and it was at Olive Garden, and a guy tapped me on the shoulder, and I was just like in my own zone. He was like, "Hey," I was like, "Yeah." Oh, you are swole. You are 6'7". He's like, yeah, me and my family watch everything you do. Keep it up. I was just like,
See you in
sure.
the
I was
bathroom.
like,
You need a
sure,
bathroom
Undertaker.
I hate it when people touch me when I don't want them to.
Yeah.
Someone tapping me on the shoulder to get my attention makes me see red.
See, And you can't, like, when you become an influencer and you get into that lifestyle, it's not one of those things to where it's going to come.
Yeah, you
because
gotta be
they
ready.
feel like because they see you, they are incorporated with everything that you do. So, like, your life, they're telling you about what you did last week. And you're just like, yeah, I saw your video where you did such and such, and you saw this person. I was like, cool. But here, yeah, if you're not a person that's hands-on and you want to be an influencer, you get used to getting touched.
Dude, I mean, we're host Columbia's
Oh,
hottest
God.
podcast. We're
They're
getting
throwing
just
themselves
assaulted.
at us.
And it happens.
We're
I
looking
just-
at bodyguards soon, I think.
I actually had someone offer to be a bodyguard one time at an event.
No kidding.
Yeah, they were just like, I don't know how you deal with like multiple people because it was at
Right.
the Shaq concert. It was like Shaq came down here in March
Oh, really?
at the Hidden Music Festival, and it was so many people around me. They were just like touching me, and the guy was
Right.
just like, I do bodyguards, right? In case you need a bodyguard one day.
Shaq, the basketball player?
no. Shaq, Shaq the basketball. He came down for a set.
He's a rapper, too.
Yeah, he's a
And
DJ.
He is?
And
He's
DJ.
DJ.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Dude, Shaq does it all.
I didn't know he could DJ.
Great.
No, he's actually really good. He blew the speaker though. He came on and like his set was at 9:00. He
Yeah.
came on and blew the speaker.
Dang.
Oh, that's terrible.
They love him.
He's a rookie then. He doesn't know how to he does not handle his
I'm not gonna
volume.
tell him that, but yeah.
Yeah, me neither. So talk to us about behind the scenes. Do you have people that, like, who else helps you with editing or responding or...
Wow. Okay, so before this year, it was just me.
Okay.
Now I have a virtual assistant as well as a video editor.
Nice.
Because I produce a lot of videos, and then I have clients, so we produce their videos as well. So yeah, like my virtual assistant's always just like, you know how many DMs you get? Like she was the one that first told me how many DMs I actually received. She's like,
Right.
you get like 121 DMs a week,
Dang.
and she was like, let's not go on like
Yeah, what-
TikTok. I was like, God.
Right. What are has there been any weird ones that she's like, listen, we got to block this person, or what do we say to this? Has there been anything crazy?
Yeah. I had someone tongue kissing their girlfriend. They sent me the video.
That's a great
honestly,
move.
I was just like,
Wait, that's a great move. What was the comment with
there
it?
was nothing. There was nothing to go
That's
along with it.
awesome.
It
And you
was
didn't know the
pre-war-
person?
No, it was no pre-warning. It was just kind of like a matter of fact. It was like an intro. Like and it wasn't just like it was like a scene like this. So I was like, okay, it's like a video. Someone sent me a video, and then it was like, oh. I was like, all right, dude. Like that's now what? Why would you even send me this?
Yes. Have you ever been on an airplane and like you keep your Bluetooth on or your AirDrop on, and have you forgotten random stuff on the plane? I
No,
love
I've
that.
seen random stuff on the
I
airplane.
love that.
I've definitely because you know those seats like they're kind of catacombs.
Oh,
so you're just
yeah,
like
you're
you'll peek over and be like,
Right, what they're looking at.
how'd you get on that site?
We're in public.
Like, sir, your screen.
No, that airdrop move is
It's so good.
hilarious because we'd be
great.
sitting there and all of a sudden you get a random airdrop and then it would be
Like a
and you're-
shirtless
and
guy
you, yeah,
flexing.
you have to decide if you're going to accept it or not. But
Yeah.
usually you're curious enough that you accept it.
I'm gonna do a
So
random
that you
airdrop
accept
day.
it,
Yes.
and then you get it. It's usually like a shirtless guy sending you some.
Or tongue kiss. I like
But then we start. But there's been a couple times where we're like, all right, well, let's just take like some flexing photos and start setting them up.
Or like our friends, they're also on the flight, so nobody has a clue who it's coming from. But you could put a shirtless picture of your friend.
See, that's why I keep it off. 'Cause I'll be like, what? Is somebody pranking me right
it's
now?
great.
Sir, what did you do?
It's hilarious. There was one where it was the pilot. Someone was pretending to be the pilot, and they're like, "Hey, this is your pilot," and it was a shirtless photo, and they would start sending it to all the passengers.
First of all, are we still flying? Are we? Do you have someone else in the cockpit?
No,
Like,
no. This is still. This is like when you're sitting there, everybody's sitting
Right, that's
down
what I
and
do.
getting ready to go up.
is our pilot okay? Is he?
These people start looking around. That's great.
And everyone has their phone because right before they tell you to turn it on airplane mode, everybody's getting their last text messages
Do
and
you turn
looking
it on?
at
though?
it.
Do you turn it on? Airplane mode?
I never do.
I always.
I never do.
I
He's going to
always
jail.
do.
I don't get it. I just think let it ride.
I'm not gonna lie, I do that too. I just it's like
Just let it
airplane
go.
mode. I'm like, this is America.
Yeah.
Do you get reception up in the air?
Sometimes randomly.
Actually, I'm about to say randomly. Sometimes you'll get like, I was like, oh, a message came through. I'm like, wait,
Right.
how did that happen?
Yes.
But you can just go on the internet there,
Yeah.
Or
you just wait until
I
you
just
hit
wait.
the
Like I
perfect
have a bunch of
reception.
movies just downloaded just in case.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm always on there just chilling or thinking of like new ideas for like stuff to do.
Yep.
So I'm one of those people.
Now, what all platforms are you on? Like, what are your most popular ones, and what all are you on?
Oh wow, man! I would definitely have to say Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Do you any Snap?
Snapchat.
I'm on Snap. I'm trying to get into it because I know they pay like sometimes the most.
Really?
Yeah, like Spotlight is like they are paying.
Yeah, if you
off.
get on there.
You get on
Yeah.
there. Threads, YouTube Shorts. Well, YouTube, but YouTube
Yeah,
Shorts.
yeah.
I like Threads like the most right now. If I was telling anybody get on social media, Threads, YouTube.
Do you now shoot different stuff for each platform, or is it just kind of, if you do it for one, you can just shoot it out to all of them?
I used to do that, but now I kind of like with my DJI, I'm just filming.
Customize it.
Yeah, I customize it so that way I kind of
Yeah.
know. So like even now, like I find like chopping it up sometimes I didn't get the scenes I wanted to, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start filming separately.
Right.
And even I'm hearing about all this AI technology that'll take long form content and then split it up into little
Bits
clips.
and pieces.
Is there anywhere that does that good or well?
I guess Canva. But I don't know because when I've seen people and they're just like, I use Canva for this, or they use like the Chat GPT 4.0 because I know I'm the Google coach for like South Carolina for Google, and we use Gemini, but Gemini still doesn't produce like.
Right.
It's not really. You can kind of tell like when someone produces AI like videos.
I agree.
Because it's kind of like there's no personality. It's just like you put that together hoping I would like it, but I'm like, yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like that or scheduling content, which is crazy because most people who do content, they like scheduling content. I just don't like doing it.
Right.
Really? Why not?
I feel like it's a feel. So like sometimes you can schedule something, you're like, this is not great for Monday. Like, you know what, I'm gonna go back and redo this. And then I'll find out like, okay, cool, it was a good thing I did that. Like I know, for instance, the Hawk Tour girl, when she started going viral,
Yeah.
a lot of people already had this stuff coming out and stuff like that. And I was switching up like hashtags, doing different things, and it was just like spiking off. So sometimes
Right.
you want to go back and revamp things. And usually when you use like the pre-recorded and do everything else, you can't or you
Hard
don't want to.
Yeah. Yep. I could
So
see
you were
that.
changing your hashtags
Yes, I was
to
Hawk Tour that, Hawk Tour this, everything. It was so I was just because I try to find out what's trending and then like what's the new one, Demure.
Yes, I don't understand that.
Me
but
neither.
I've seen that, and I guess
it
that's
gets
the
the
point.
people going.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's what I don't know if it's just a social experiment or if it really does get you more views or likes.
You have to jump on it though.
Yeah.
Because now it's probably too late, but now, right?
Oh yeah, now everyone's like abusing it.
Yeah.
Like now everybody's doing like, oh, check out my grandmother. I don't want to see her.
Right.
But yeah, you jump on a trend as soon as it comes out, like jump on it.
Right.
And like if I feel like this, if you hear it more than 3 times on social media in a day, it's trending. Do
Yeah.
it
Yes.
Yeah.
And do it like that day.
that day. Like don't wait and be like, okay, yeah, in a couple of days I'm gonna jump it. Like no, do it that day.
That's good.
Yeah. Do you ever do lives? Like,
I have. I had a weird experience with that too.
yeah, people
Yeah.
try to hunt you down.
No, she did. This was a lady. She was. It was no way for her to be on that side of town. And she was like, "Hey, it was fancy meeting you here." I'm like, "Now every Tuesday I come to this one spot.
Right.
There's literally no one in here." And she's like, "Yeah, I just fancy meeting you here." It's like, "Hey, you random person who shouldn't know that I'm here because no one else is here." And yeah, she was weird the whole conversation. Even the bartender was just like, "You want to wrap it up, right? You want to go?" I was like, "Yeah." So yeah, I do go live, but like going live when you eat is a completely different thing
Yeah.
because people are just like, "Do you like those fries?
Yeah.
Can you show us the environment? I'll never go there if you tell me not to go there." And you have to realize that too as an influencer, what you say can be completely taken out of
Right,
context.
Yes.
And it happened to me at one spot. I was just like, I didn't really like it. And people took it and they were just like, "Oh, I'm never going there." I'm like, no, I didn't say don't go there. I was
Right.
like, I didn't care for this. So now I explain that in every video. So I don't want you to think like I'm trying to bash you. I just didn't care for it.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion.
Right.
But people will take that and they'll just go gun ho.
Yeah. Have you had any business owners get pissed at you?
For
For your review?
yeah, but not in a bad way. They were mad because I guess they didn't know I was coming, and I sent a bunch of people like to them.
Yeah.
And they just had their regular staff, and I didn't know some people were actually off the next day, and I just posted it. I was like,
Sure.
okay, cool, and they were just like, "Yeah, next time you do that, can you give us a warning? Because we
couldn't
didn't have
handle-
enough."
yeah.
Right? It was like we were understaffed, and we wanted everyone to get the same experience. I was like, "Oh, my bad. I was just doing something, and I thought it was cool, but they were like really like."
Yeah.
no, it did not turn out how we thought it was going to turn out.
Right.
So yeah.
And are women just throwing themselves at you a little bit in your DMs?
No, they actually want to sell me something. Like not that, but no, they were
OnlyFans.
right. They're just like, hey, love your videos. That's how I know you're going to ask for something. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, love your
Yeah.
videos. I'm like, and
Yeah.
so we open up a hair salon. Like, what? I'm not coming just to do a hair salon.
Right.
Do you get your nails? No, I don't get my nails done. I have a sister and she bakes out of I'm not eating out of your trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like people will do that randomly. They will like put food in your
Right.
face.
That's sketchy.
It was like, oh yeah, try my cake. I'm
Yeah.
like, not out of your hand.
Yeah, I'm not into that either.
Yeah. So you have to explain to people too, like I don't do reviews if you like pretty much have it in your home. Because
Right.
I can't send people to your house.
Right.
Right.
Or out of your trunk.
Yeah.
So
And you're a big Columbia guy too. When we were talking earlier, you said that you just like Columbia.
Yeah.
And I love that because I know tons of people who had the opportunity to go anywhere they wanted, looked at Columbia, and then chose to come to Columbia. And you're similar. You were in Atlanta before, you came to Columbia, and now you're like, I love Columbia and I want to stay here.
I love it here. I feel like the people here are spoiled. I definitely say that.
I agree.
I feel like they have so many opportunities, but because they're around it so often and they see it so much, they don't take full advantage of it.
Take it for granted.
And I'm just like, when I talk to a lot of these people I do vlogs with, I'm just like, dude, where did you come from? Oh, I came from DC. Oh, I came from Houston, Texas. And I'm just like, and you have a business already? And I'm talking to people who are from here, just like, there are no opportunities. There's nothing to do. I'm just like, you must stay in your pocket. And I can always tell like how well privy someone is based off like one conversation. I'm just like, hey, so what do you do? It's like in Columbia, like, what do you do for fun? And they tell me like the two main spots. I'm like, oh, so you just stay over there. Like you don't go to Divine Street. You don't want to see what's in Forest Acres.
Right.
You go to like West Columbia. Have you ever been like river rafting? Like, have you done any of those things? No.
They go to Soda City every Saturday
Yeah.
and they go to the zoo.
Which is sad because that's actually some people's schedule. But yes, Soda City, the zoo, and if they're feeling frisky, Nickelodeon movie theater.
Oh, get out of here.
Right, like don't date night me. But yeah, other than that, it's like I love it because people here, like that move here, they see the importance of Columbia. Like this podcast, like this is a part of Columbia, and the people here is just like, yeah, but they're not like such and such. They always like to do a comparison.
Right.
But I'm like, yeah, but they're doing something here. That's major. And I feel like if you can't be successful in Columbia, you going to other places is it's not going to be easy
Yes,
either.
you're going to get crushed anywhere else.
Right.
But no, I really truly love this city for what it has done for me. 95% of my success as an adult has come from the city.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you're doing brand deals now, it
Yeah.
sounds like, with TikTok
Yeah,
and
tell
Instagram.
us about that event. We need to hear everything.
And I don't understand how you get paid on Snapchat and Instagram. Is it per view or TikTok per view, or is it when you get a brand deal, then you get paid?
Well, both ways. So
Okay.
like literally they pay you depending on like how viral you go. Like, you know, but I've known people that get like millions of views and they may get like $100 on TikTok.
Really?
So you're using it. You try to use the platform for what it's good for, but like if you're trying to get paid from it, it does give you gas money. Like I just got paid from Facebook like $300.
Yeah.
Which is still good, but you got to think like in YouTube, I'd have those same views. It could have been like a $2,000-$3,000 check.
Right.
Really?
So like you're working just as hard, but you're trying to build up a community. So like the reason I get a lot of stuff is I'm consistent. I'm in a niche market. So basically a lot of people want to be in South Carolina, but they don't know how to get into the market.
Yeah.
The crazy part about it is they're reaching out to influencers to do that. So like I remember I got a thing for Raising Cane's with USC, and I was actually trying to give the contract away to different people. I was just like, hey, check out this person, check out this person. There's like, they're not on social media consistently. Like we need someone that's consistent. So a lot of times brand deals are coming to you because there's like consistency. Like I get some of my highest contracts on TikTok. And I tell people like I have less followers on TikTok, but I have a higher engagement.
Yeah.
So like my range is from like 16 to 25. And everyone wants those teenagers. Like
Right.
brands will pay you extra if you can like relate to a teenager.
Yep.
But then you also have to be careful because you will have some brands try to reach out like, hey, yeah, well, we are a liquor company. I'm like, yeah, no.
Right.
So you got to kind of like pick and choose who you want. But is it easy getting brand deals? Yes.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how the pump and dump crypto coins would reach out to influencers and say, I'll give you $1 million if you hype up this coin. but it's just a junk coin
Yeah.
that they're going to get all their people to buy. And then as soon as they buy it, the price goes up. Everybody on the inside dumps it, and then they all lose their money. So the influencer would make money, but they're convincing somebody to buy something they know is going to get pump and dumped.
And that's the other thing that gives us a bad name because influencers do that. They will
For sure. For $1 million, it would be hard for someone to say no.
You think that until you realize how fast it can go.
Yeah.
And then you try to build that same crowd up because once you lose that trust,
Yeah.
that's it.
Gonzo. Yep.
So if
Yeah.
you if you could get $1 million at one time, just understand that someone who truly believes in your brand and won't like jeopardize your character, they'll give you the same amount. So like when TikTok reached out to me, that was like they reached out to me. That was actually my third time being reached out with TikTok.
Yeah, and how do they do that? How do you know it's not a robot? Like,
Oh, like
if TikTok reached out to me, I'd be like, no way.
Yeah, I just delete it.
Yeah.
no, they send you like official email and everything. Like
Really?
they have like letterheads, TikTok this. Because the first time I dealt with TikTok was during the pandemic, and I had a Metro Tap company, which was like NFC Tap business card, and they reached out to me. They was like, "Dude, all your videos keep going viral. We want to understand like how are you doing this on this?" Because at the time, no one was understanding the algorithm. And to me, I don't feel like there's an algorithm. I tell people this all the time. When people say, "Oh, the algorithm is off," I'm like, "There's no such thing as an algorithm."
What?
Yeah,
That's a controversial take.
I know they're gonna try to eat me alive in these comments.
Whoa.
I tell people all the time, replace algorithm with audience,
Yeah.
and then you'll understand like why your content isn't doing good. Because people are like, oh, I posted this. I'm like, yeah, it's good to you, but it's shitty to them.
Yeah.
But Demure or
those
Hawk
just kinda
Tua,
lucky.
those would go into an algorithm that would get hot.
Yeah, but the audience is the one that's watching it.
Right.
So they're pushing
That's
it
what
because that's what
the
everyone's
audience
seeing,
wants.
right?
I got
Because
you.
the goal for social media is to keep you on more than you're supposed to
For
be.
sure.
Right.
Right. So they're gonna push content that people are looking at a lot more than content no one's looking at.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
people would be like, I'm shadow banned. I'm like, no, those last 3 videos just sucked. It's just bad. It's horrible. Those are horrible videos. And
Yeah.
people just don't want to take into account that they produce bad stuff.
Yep.
So no, when they reached out to me, I was just like, dude, I was hitting like 1 million views like every 2 days on something.
Yeah.
And then they did a business study, and I think it's still up for that. And then when they reached out to me again, it was like, yo, you did a news report. And I felt bad, and I told them that when I went on the trip, because I thought they picked me up because they saw me on the news talking about how to keep TikTok. And I was like, yeah. So I was like, so y'all chose me because, I did those 2 interviews. They was like, no, we didn't see it. And I was like, okay, well, what? I did, another interview for you all. They was like, oh, we didn't see that either. I was like, okay. So I'm starting to feel embarrassed in front of all these people. I was like, so, okay, why did you choose me? It's like, oh, your community vouches for you. Like out of everyone, it was like, I was the only influencer on the trip. Everyone else had a business.
No kidding.
And my engagement dwarfed theirs. It's a guy now, he makes belts and he has 800K. And we look like an engagement rate. He was just like, dude, like pretty much almost a good bit of your followers are engaged.
Right.
He was just like, I can barely get that.
Is that so that what numbers are you looking at? Like, do you look at any stats or anything like that?
Analytics. I break down analytics like almost, if not every day,
Really?
like every other day.
Nice.
Because I want to know like what's driving people.
Yeah,
here.
what's
Like,
working.
is this coming from here? Was it this hashtag? Men or women? Like what age
Right.
range? All that plays a part. Because even when people book me for stuff, I let them know on like, yo, this site produces this. This site produces this. This is what you're gonna
You
get.
could give them,
Right.
real stuff. Yeah.
So I'm not just like, I hope this makes it.
Yeah. Nice.
So let's say you throw a tank top photo of yourself up
Oh,
there.
your biceps are out.
You
Yeah.
know it's going to be 90% women.
Yeah, that's actually my crowd. My crowd is 90%. No, I think when they did a breakdown, it's 95% women.
Nice.
Wow.
Even when it came to my restaurant, like if a guy never came in there to buy food, I wouldn't feel like a punch or anything. Like I couldn't tell.
wouldn't even notice.
Sale wise.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like if you own a restaurant, you kind of want women to come in because
Yeah.
they're gonna buy and they're gonna convince guys. So you're gonna date, they're gonna some guys buy stuff.
Yeah.
So like I was at a seafood restaurant, like I had seafood, and guys would try to come in and impress them. I'm like, dude, this is our 3rd time in here.
Yeah.
Like this week, you're the 2nd guy to buy a $50 plate. Like, but like women can, they produce the economy. So like,
For sure.
they're there.
Yeah, they know things too. Like Tom's wife knows things about everything
Yeah,
in
they're
Colombia that's
analyzing.
happening.
Yeah.
I do
And
find that.
they'll follow the storylines and who's where and who knows who and who follows who.
That almost happened to me. I'm sorry. This is a weird story at a bar crawl. I'll never forget my first bar crawl. A lady came up to me on her birthday, and it was at the last spot, and she was just like, "Oh my God, I'm glad I saw you. You made my whole birthday." And I was just like, "Whoa," because her husband was right there. And she was like, "Yeah, I just follow you. Everything that you do. You're the reason that we go on dates because he doesn't like to do this stuff." And I was just like, "Oh, no, stop." And so he came up to me, like, he stood up now. He's like, "Hey, so like, what do you do?" And I was just like,
I seduce women
Right.
on my
I was
social
like,
media accounts.
So now I'm just like, I feel the animosity. I'm like, dude, I just record videos. And then she interrupts me. She's like, no, he does more than that. He goes around different places. A lot of people know him. I was just like, ma'am, no.
Oh man.
He was like, yeah. So you know her. I was like, no, I don't know her. She just telling me all the stuff that I've
She
seen.
knows you.
Right.
Right.
But that was so awkward because he just kept looking at me the whole night. Just like, why does she like you?
Dude, I just had my first time that somebody asked me, "What do you do?" and I told them I'm a podcaster. And it was a event for our church. It was like this dinner, and you ended up sitting beside someone, and my wife was sitting beside me, and there's always the "what do you do?" question, and I'm never really quite sure how to answer it because I do a whole bunch of stuff
Right.
all the time. And I was just like, well, I have this podcast, and she's probably 60 years old. She looked at me like, okay.
She's like, so you
do you
talk.
do in real life?
So then she just like looked at my wife, and my wife was like, no, he's a chiropractor.
See how she tried to just like, he
She
has a real
astounded me.
job.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't like when people do. They just be like, oh, so you so you create content. So you TikTok. I'm like, I don't dance,
dance
dude.
guy.
Like, stop saying that dance. It's like, yeah, so you just you do like moves and stuff, like, right? Like
Which you
trend.
probably do have some good moves.
No, I tried it.
You tried some moves?
Yeah, I was concentrating so hard. I was just like, oh yeah, none of these takes are great.
Didn't
I was
work.
just-
Dancing's hard.
Yeah.
Dancing's
My little
hard.
cousin was just like, yeah, can you just stop and eat food? I was like, all right. Teenagers will let you know. They just be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
you're embarrassing us now.
Yeah.
Like, get out the video.
Yeah, what on that note, like what's the cringiest video you've ever put out there and you rewatch it and you were like, oh God, I gotta, because we tried to do a TikTok for the business and I was like, oh my God, this is missing on all levels.
I can't even, I'm trying to think. Like,
The one that Tom did was, are you talking about the one where you're pointing? Yes, he's sitting there doing this.
There was like that like pointed stuff and it was so bad. I might still be up. It might, but we were like, dude,
I think we just left it up
Yeah,
to
it
leave
was-
it there, but
it was bad.
it was bad?
Oh,
Did it
God.
get views though?
I don't think so. I mean, it
No,
was
it
just
w-
it was like this is a 40-year-old dude that should not be doing this.
but he was
the
doing
best one.
he was doing like the bounce at the same time.
See, now I'm gonna watch that video just to see
I know.
like what you're doing. No, I
know.
haven't had anything. I did a skit one time, like a Coming to America skit at my restaurant.
Yeah.
Literally, I had like the
Like Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, like Eddie Murphy. I had the lion's head,
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And I had some of my workers sit up there, like throwing roses and everything. I had a dance
That's
choreography
hilarious.
team. Now look at it, I was like, why did I spend this money on this advertisement?
Right.
Like this is crazy. But yeah, I was throwing drinks on people. Yeah, so it was just I don't know why I did it. Like to this day, I'm like, God, why? Who thought this was a great idea, and why didn't someone stop me? Like I don't have friends.
That's funny.
But sometimes even if it's a little cringy, it kind of works.
Yeah,
or
you
it's
gotta
funny.
feel it.
There's this one guy that I always see. His name's Kevin, and he's a single dad. He's 40, but his way of like, and there'll always be some comment about like just waiting for the love of my life to come in who wants to sit on the deck and watch the sunset or something. But he always does these cringy dances, and the comments are so funny. They're Kevin, I wish I never saw this. Kevin,
Why is
you
this
need
in
to
my
stop doing
algorithm?
this. How did I end up here?
Oh God.
But he just keeps doing them, and there's
Views.
thousands of comments
Yeah.
telling him to stop it and quit it and how embarrassing he is, and he just keeps doing them, and he keeps getting millions of
great.
views.
But that's the thing. It's kind of like people can't help themselves on social media. So like, if you ever want to know like things that pretty much help you go viral or things that get like high engagement, misspell something.
Yeah.
If you misspell anything on social media, people just like, yeah,
Yeah.
why did you do that?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have a channel. Who taught you? And you're just like, what? Or have like be highly opinionated on something that's viral. Like right now is like the dating scene, 50-50 relationships and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's always gonna go because people have to give their comment on based off like bad experiences.
Yep.
That kind of stuff. I definitely say like cringy. Anything that makes people want you to stop, keep doing.
Really?
Like random dances or just like how you pronounce some things. Like just keep doing it. The more they hate it, the more they can't get off of it. That's why I love my site, because I love Colombia so much. I know people want to disagree with me.
Yeah.
That for sure.
So I'll just be like, I love Colombia today. They're like, oh, I hate you for loving it.
Yeah.
Why do you love it so much? I want to leave.
Yes.
Well, and there's always probably a line, right? Like Nada Rutherford, the coroner. So when she came in here, the person that we had doing it put her name up Nadia, which drives her bananas. So it was like
And if
the
anybody says it.
moment she walks in, and then I think I almost said it wrong, and so like drives her crazy. So that's one where like if we would have put her name anywhere, Nadia, her followers would have destroyed
demolished
us.
you.
Oh, we would have been blacklisted everywhere.
You call this a podcast?
Yeah, on it, like reporting us, ban them.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes you have to just make a decision. Like, is it worth all the hate? Can I handle all the hate?
Yeah,
because I'm sure you have feelings, right?
I guess because when you're used to marketing, I understand the difference. So like most people that don't like you, they're not coming back for a second post to tell you they don't like you.
Right.
They're just one and done. Like, oh, I just want to tell you how much I don't like you. It's like, oh, you care. And so a lot of times you can just put like a smiley face, and they'll just be like, I was expecting more.
Right.
But I like it because it gets people engaged and it boosts it up. Like most people don't understand, like some things I post for Colombia, I expect you to not like, because then you boost it to people that are moving here and other people, and they go through my page and I can automatically see like my views going up.
Yep.
So I'm just using your hate to help me
so
to
they share
promote
it.
Colombia.
Yeah.
Right. And the opposite of hate isn't, or the opposite of love isn't hate.
Hate.
The opposite of love is apathy.
I don't even know what that means. You gotta
That's a
unpack
big.
that.
Well, that's a big marriage thing where.
He was just in a seminar.
I do a lot of seminars. But where if someone literally doesn't care about you at all, then if you do something, they just ignore it and they don't care. But if it elicits some sort of reaction, even if it's love or hate, it's still an emotion because they care about you.
Facts.
So sometimes couples that fight actually have a better relationship than couples that just don't even talk to each other, just shut down.
Right.
And it's just the apathy side of it. Once you stop caring, what that person does means nothing. They won't care if you post wrong or post something. They just ignore you.
That reminds me of Married with Children. I just love that show. I was thinking about how many times they used to fight, but they was always like together.
Right. Yes.
That's crazy, but that does have a lot of truth.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
That's kind of like so one of the questions I always ask, like before I pick up a client, and depending on how they answer the question, depends on if I pick them up. So like,
This is for real estate?
yeah,
Or for
this is just for like
everything.
influencer marketing and everything. And I was
What
just
do you
like,
mean? What does pick them up mean?
because a lot of people want me to like help them with social media, and I'm just like, okay, you want me to bring you on, or a lot of people want me to teach them how to become like a content creator or
it.
influencer. So the main question I always ask them is like, why do I want to be you? And like, I'm like, don't just jump out with a bunch of additives. Like, tell me, why do I want to be you?
Yeah.
And only so far, because people have to come back and usually give me the answer. Like 2 people have given me like the answer straight off. Like, this is why you want to be me.
Yeah.
Because if you can't figure that out, you're probably not going to be successful on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I could
people-
give you
Good.
that answer for 10
What's your
minutes.
answer? Go ahead. Give me an answer.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm comfortable telling everybody why. But I mean, I live in one of the greatest cities, and I have freedom to do whatever I want, which I think is the number one thing. Most people don't want to have a boss. They don't want to have anyone telling them what to do. And 2 of my top priorities are freedom to do what I want, and then also to be around who I want or not be around people that I don't want. So I would rather make $50,000 a year and have the choice to be around only people that I want than make $1 million a year and have to be around people that I can't stand being around.
Facts.
Bingo.
That's good.
Thanks.
And the reason
I've thought about it a lot too,
Yeah, look,
because it's a big deal.
you have to ask people those questions, because if you can't answer that, then you're not going to be that successful on social media, because social media is the art of envy, right? It's not jealousy, but envy, because people are watching things because they want something. Like, oh man, I wish I had that car. Oh
Right.
man, I wish I had that lifestyle. Oh man, I wish I did
Yes.
this. And it's not like a jealousy. They're just like, I wish I could do these things.
Yep.
So once you figure out that factor that you have, it's easier to sell that. So I know, like, purposely on Tuesday, like tomorrow, I'm gonna go out and get a drink at like 11:30 a.m., like some type of drink, and I'm
Yes.
gonna post it. And everyone that's at work is gonna be like, God, I wish I could do what he does.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm stuck here looking at Brenda again.
Karen over there giving me a hard time with my reports.
And I'm just like, oh, it's another Tuesday for me. Good day.
What kind of cocktail do you go with usually?
Ooh, it depends on my mood. Manhattan. I love a good Manhattan. If I feel like the bar can't make anything great, I just go for a Long Island iced tea.
Wow, that's potent.
Really?
Yeah.
You
I
go
just
right to,
realized about a year ago I was supposed to mix it up.
I don't
lie.
know, but what do you mean mix it from what?
So Long Island has like
5 liquors.
yeah,
I think.
5 liquors, and it has like Coke and lemon and all this stuff, but it floats at the top. I just realized like last year, it was like, oh, you don't mix it up? I was like, no. It's like
You just have a little lemon first and
right.
then a
So I
little
was just
Coke.
like, I just drank it from the
Just
bottom. They
layered.
was like, oh, so you just go straight for the shot. I was like, yeah, I didn't know I was
Yep.
supposed to mix it up.
With a straw.
You got to be a
depends.
straw guy.
It depends. That depends.
What is
Size
it?
of the
What is the
straw.
straw?
Size matters.
Right, size matters. I'm not a hey. No, sir, why you have to like hey.
Wait, would you be more likely to drink out of a bigger straw or a smaller straw?
No, I would not. The bigger the straw, the more I'm throwing it away.
It's not comfortable.
Yeah, I'm just like, whoa, sir, what'd you give me this for? Like,
Those tiny straws they give you, you can't even get anything out of it, even if you wanted
It's a
to.
good pacing straw.
It's a,
though.
so- it's a
pacer.
mixing straw.
Give him pace.
you can't. It's
It slows you down a little.
right. Like unless you're just
It's
trying to have a
simper.
great night, you're just like, oh. But yeah, I'm like out of my male friends, I'm like they say like they put me against Irish people to drink, which is crazy.
Wow.
So I've never had a hangover a day in my life.
What?
Nice.
Never.
I get tired. I never really get sick or anything like that when it comes to that. You don't even get tired.
I don't even get like they
What?
will they
That's
get
nice.
mad. Like my best friends, like old roommates, they would get so pissed in college because like we'll go out for drinking and I always have to be the designated driver because apparently it just didn't bother me like that. And like I would prank them so much, I would put like baby oil on the floor and then yell out fire alarm. And they'll all come running downstairs and hitting the wall. It's like, stop doing this shit when you're drunk. And so like we went to Miami and I had to babysit them and I was the last one there. So it was kind of like, dude, I'm already like 14 shots in.
Dang.
So your body just metabolizes it
It's
really
just so
fast.
quick. It's just like, oh, I had to drink a bunch. I think my max I've ever had, which don't judge me, 22 shots.
Wow.
Really?
22 shots.
Just feeling good.
Oh,
Yeah. Like,
Just doing a conga line.
I went to school in Savannah. So, like, it was just like you're around people who drink.
Yeah.
And so you go to college and you like learn how to do the boot and everything else. And it was just like, oh, okay.
Wow.
I used to win bets like that and everything.
that, yeah.
Are you good at chugging?
Yeah.
really?
How about beer bongs? Keg
Nah.
stands.
Keg stands great. Keg stands, I'm awesome
Wow.
at.
See, that's tough.
Yeah. I was just like, what?
That is. If I have like 2 drinks of a beer, domestic beer, I'll be hungover for a week.
Really?
My body can't metabolize.
He's got something
certain
in his
thi-
head where
There's
he
a
thinks
lot
that
of
there's-
things that I can't have. Or bourbon. I tried to get into bourbon where I would want to sit and have a like, everybody's having one. You're hanging out with the guys. Like, all right, I'll have. I'd be sick for a day. I would wake up the next day and be like, oh, this. They're like, wait, you only had like an eighth of your drink. I'm like, I know.
Wow, not even bourbon. No, the only thing I can't drink is sweet drinks. That's like my
Too much
drinks.
sugar.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
my-
like
Yeah.
a strawberry daiquiri.
What?
You wouldn't do well with that.
One of my frat
Pina
brothers,
colada.
right? He figured it out one day. He was just like, "Yo, you can outdrink someone." He was like, "You can outdrink a lot of people." So he gave me 99 oranges. They have different flavors.
Yeah.
Not drunken. I was
I've
just,
never. What's a 99?
It's
It's a.
the devil. It's the devil in different flavors.
It's like
And-
schnapps or something.
Right. It's like it is so thick. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. He gave it to me. And I was like, oh, it's just one bottle. And then all I remember is waking up like on his bed. And he was just like, dude, it was taking you 5 minutes to fall. He was like, you tripped, but you kept grabbing on to everything to not fall, that we just pushed you down to finish it. I was like, I don't remember what happened. He was like, I don't think you can take sweet drinks.
Really?
So from that point on,
Yeah.
I just realized like when it comes to alcohol, I can take straight shots.
Yep.
Yeah.
But sweet drinks, I'll just be like, Hey.
Yeah.
Do you ever think, what are people going to think of what I'm drinking? Like if you have like a masculine vibe that day, you're
You're
going to
fine
have
with
something
fruit.
on the
You're
rocks.
fine
Oh, yeah.
or
No,
it
give-
doesn't
like-
matter.
But once people I think I kind of get a pass because they're just like, he's doing it for the gram.
Yeah.
He's got that manila in there with the rolls in there for the gram. I'm like, yeah, sure, that's it, the gram. That's why I have that mini umbrella in there. I don't normally get it.
Now, do you do any like skin routine, body routine,
Oh, yeah, you have to.
manicures, pedicures,
Yeah.
makeup?
No, not makeup.
Adam going.
Facial hair transplants.
Yeah, no, I wish. No, I started doing that more when one of my videos for Metro Tap went viral for the wrong thing. I was just like, hey, tap me. And my fingernail was so long, like my thumbnail.
Oh.
And they were eating me up in the comments. They was just like, dude, look at your long nail. Edward Scissorhands. Like, what do you do? I hope you don't dig in your butt. I
love
was just
that.
like, what? I was like,
Edward Scissorhands is
I'm like, hey,
hilarious.
listen to the video. They were just like, look at his thumb. What's wrong? He's a mutant. I was like, oh, man. You know what? Turn off the comments.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all are really eating me up. Like, no one's paying attention.
Did you turn
Yeah,
off the
I did. I was
comments?
just like,
Like,
oh,
I
man.
can't take this anymore.
Like, I was like, it was 130 comments, so they were just going in on my nail. I was just like, so
Yeah.
no one's gonna pay attention to like my product. It's like, look at it, it's ugly. Then they screenshot it, you know, like they can talk, like they leave messages. And I was
Right.
like, dude, you didn't have to record it. Like, you have too much time with your
Got
hand. I was like, yeah, let's turn these off.
That's good. But Tom, you know what? Tom's one of those guys though that'll do it. Where if you send a photo to him,
Oh yeah,
he'll immediately zoom into everything around you and
I look for
small
anything.
screenshot all the stuff.
I do that too. I can't even lie.
Do you?
Like,
It's
yeah,
great.
I just-
It's
like,
great.
dude,
You have to be so careful when you know you're going to send a photo. You got to be so careful. Like, all
I
right,
want-
let me see all the details.
I once zoomed into a reflection of a sunglass and
I do
saw
that
it.
all the time.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. Like, hey,
Got him.
so I thought you said you didn't eat like too many appetizers. I'm looking at 3 plates through your glasses. Huh?
That's great.
But yeah, as an influencer, that's one of the things you do. Like, and your friends eat last. Like,
Yeah.
they know. Once you become a food influencer, like, soon as the plates hit the table,
Got to film.
yeah, I gotta film. Like, it's gonna
Yeah.
get cold. Like, it's gonna be like temperatures below what you're supposed to get it.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah. So as soon as they get it, it's like, oh, we eating with you. I'm like, yeah.
What, okay, so tell me more. I don't know any etiquette about eating with an influencer.
Okay, so depends on the type of influencer.
The camera eats first.
Right. So the camera has to eat first. So like the minute it touches, I'm looking for great angles. I'm looking for what's gonna make it like I always look at things like what would a viewer think about? Like would this grab their attention? So a lot of times I'm just like, can you scoot over? And it's like, I'm in front of my food. I know, but you're in the way too. So and like they just know it's like, all right, my food's kind of getting cold. I'm like, all right, I'm good. You can eat now.
He's waiting for like the syrup to just drip.
Right. Like it has to be the right
It's like,
moment.
oh wait.
So like even when you go to restaurants, they do something like, oh, I'm gonna pour this on. I'm like, whoa.
Whoa.
Okay. Now pour.
Go gadget.
Right. Just like, whoa, wait. Because people, they just start eating. I'm like, that's weird. I don't
Yeah.
do that anymore.
All right, so I have a question about tips
Okay.
for anyone who's new out of college. They're doing social media stuff. They're just
Or a 40-year-old guy has a podcast.
or let's say that he got
chiropractor.
forced. I have a Instagram now that I never had. I used to just have like a little
Is that the one you were
private
telling me about?
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's
239 followers.
Yeah, it's growing big, and this year, actually, we should tell everybody. So, social media influencer of the year, we went head to head this year, and you didn't even know that you were there, and you put one post up and destroyed me. So I got third. So right now in this room, we have the most influential social media influencer and the third most.
In
Because
Colombia.
it's about impact and it's about audience. It's not about
Engagement.
numbers.
Engagement.
Yeah, people don't get that. They're like, oh, you'd rather have the 400 top business owners in the city following you
guess,
than
yes.
29,000 fake followers.
Oh, God. Okay.
So, yeah, this is a
Yeah,
big deal.
so-
So us
growing
big
through the roof.
influencers.
Right. It was, he would. I would have never knew the number and everything until he told
Exactly.
me. So
All
that
you
was
would have
like-
seen was my name on the ballot
Right.
that I was top 5. And then I got third.
He told me, so it was kind of
But
like
people are gonna look it up, right?
Dude,
I'm
I
like,
know.
dude.
I
was
got
like, dude,
so
if
many
you win
votes.
if you win this, I'm concerned for the contest.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean?
No, I got
like,
a lot
it
of
would be bad.
votes.
It would have been bad.
No, I'm telling you, the
I like
number of
that he was
people
on
that
there.
voted for me is massive.
Yeah.
But it's here's the problem though is I talk to people in person to vote for me online. So I'm not actually I'm more of like an in-person influencer.
It's too much to go. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm
That's a
gathering
new
it all.
category for next
Right.
year.
I'm an in-person influencer.
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah. Just know.
Let's unpack
you
it a
would have
little
won.
bit.
You
Yeah.
would have definitely
If
won.
nobody would have told, and Tom's the one that told
Yeah,
you
Tom-
that you
Tom-
Unknowingly, though.
yeah, but he screwed me.
I didn't know.
Well, he told me, I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yes, you didn't even know. You wouldn't have posted the link.
Podcast. So
But then
in case
you
y'all
did
didn't know,
post the
Tom
link.
told me.
I think you still would have won and wouldn't even known.
That
With
was
how-
crazy. Like he told me at an event, and I was just like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. I'm making small talk like, yeah, hey, congrats on the thing. He's like,
Tom's
what?
over looking. Hey, want to take a picture of my food?
I'm whispering in your ear. I'm the guy whispering in one of your
Close to you.
videos.
Onion rings.
Yeah, don't tell anybody about that.
I was just like, wait.
I couldn't
what?
believe you're surprised. Kai was there too. She's like, yeah, you had to know. And you were like, no, I had no
I
no
had
clue.
no clue. Like I literally would have went this whole time and just been like,
Yeah.
we voted for you for what? Doing what? When did this happen? And when he told me, I was just like, wait, what? I actually
Yeah.
went back home to look. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm actually on the ballot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so it was no.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so
Randy would've won. Or actually, he would've got second, I guess.
congratulations,
Yeah.
but also
Yeah.
yeah. He's
My bad.
I'll take.
Hey,
first.
my bad.
This is my
Next
first year. My first year on the
I'm
ballot.
not telling you next year
Okay.
anything.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Randy to win
Oh,
this
next year I'm gonna be big
Yeah.
because my Instagram's been blowing up.
I see, man. That's crazy. Like you're doing crazy numbers right now.
But my-
So it's like,
He's like 260 now.
No. I started doing it because we had this branding company that came to us and they were like, you guys are just all over the place with everything you do. Like, let's sit down and just
get a
figure
plan.
it out a little bit from your podcast to your clinics and your real estate and all this stuff that you're doing. It's just too much. But they basically said to me, you have to have an Instagram.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people don't know you. They don't trust you. So you got to do an Instagram.
that's very true. Like I rarely trust people without like social media.
Yeah.
And I had a private one because I didn't want to have my kids
God.
and stuff on it. Like, I didn't want random people.
Yeah. I understand.
It was mostly just like for my family in Canada to be able to see what we're doing. But they convinced me to do it. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. And I just gave it to our social media guy at the time, Brett. I was like, just post stuff for me. I just have to have this. I don't know, put up whatever. But now the more I'm like learning about it, the more I'm like, all right, I think I need to get into this.
Yes.
And so I started getting into it, got nominated as Columbia's top influencer.
Woohoo! Let's go.
and it's only going up from here.
That was good. Like, look, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a post about it, and I made a post, and just like they reached out, I was like, yeah, you won. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, because I didn't even know I was in it, so I
Yeah.
was just like, oh man, that's crazy. But yeah, if he wouldn't told me, it was just
We got to see who got runner up too. We
Yeah.
didn't look. We got to. It's probably in the paper.
wait. They tell you like you're second and third.
They tell you first and second, and then they tell you basically that you were.
You didn't get first or second.
Basically, he's saying third, but you're kind of like just. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You're.
Yeah, I would love to. Actually, I should call them. I want to call them
Yeah,
and find out the number
votes.
of votes.
Find out the votes.
and see how close I was
Yeah.
because I was getting blown up. People
Yeah.
were just telling me constantly
Yeah.
they were voting for me.
Because this whole time I was like, oh, third. Like they told him he was third. I was like, next year you definitely have it though.
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna go head to head
Yeah,
again.
or we create that category. We create a separate category. Let Ken win this one.
Yes.
We go
In-person social media influencers.
I was like, just vote for him. Just vote for him.
Exactly. You'll just throw me some pity votes.
Just vote for him. Everyone. Just go on.
Now, when did you know? Like, when did you know you were an official influencer?
Well, wait. I was finishing my question though first.
Okay.
It was going to what are the
Tips.
tips
Oh, yeah,
for
tips.
someone who's brand new in it?
Tips.
And
consistency.
okay.
I definitely say that's like the fail point for like over half of people. Because they'll start and then they don't receive traction like they think they should, and they'll
Yes.
just quit.
Right.
And like, I'm just like, you could be that one video away from boom, like stardom, or just like more people noticing you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people look at it, they're just like, well, I want to do what you do. And I'm like, yeah, but it's work.
Right.
Like, even when you go on brand trips, you're on a trip, but you're still working.
Yep.
And they don't see it. They think it's just like content.
So consistency with how much you post, or consistency with your brand, or consistency with
Everything.
your videos?
Everything. Like, even when you first start off, the one thing I don't like from marketing companies and like even some brand agencies is like they try to tell you to pick a niche and they try to tell you to stick to this category. I'm like, you don't even know what you're gonna be good at yet.
Right.
So throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and the audience, not the algorithm, will respond to you. And whatever people respond to the most, that's what you should go with, because they're telling you what you're naturally good at.
Right.
A lot of times we're trying to force people to notice something about ourselves that other people are just like, that's cool, but it's not like it's going to keep me engaged. So like you talking or laughing could be like your redefining moment, and you're just like, oh, I just want to be educational. And it's like, no, we like the funny side of you more.
Yeah.
So I definitely tell people, like, don't just niche down automatically. Just figure out what you want to do, and the audience will tell you.
I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
When did you know you were an influencer? Like, when did you say, like, that's the title?
Actually, I never thought I was an influencer. I'm gonna be very honest. People gave me that. Restaurants started giving me that. I think Breakfast at Ruiz was like one of the first ones who was just like, dude, we almost had to shut down because of you. He was like, because of the influence that you had. And I was just like, I was just
That
posting
is
videos.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then people like now they consider me an influencer, but I'm still like, yeah, I just like to explore.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, but you're an influencer too. And so now that I know I have the title, I'm more cautious about the things that I say, because I've seen to where you can just be like, oh yeah, it's just this. And people just like, they take it and they run with it. So I definitely say like being an influencer is a job, but you have to love people. If you don't love people,
Right.
this is not the job for you.
Yeah.
If you don't like talking to people randomly, this is not the job for you.
You don't like people whispering in your ear.
Yeah, if you don't like people whispering onion rings in your ear, this is it's that ketchup.
I love little cat purr.
Whoa, sir! After all that, you gotta pay for my meal. If you don't want, like, if you're not, if you're only doing it for the fame,
Yeah.
then it's not gonna last long, because people will talk about you. Like, I've had so many conversations where people are just like, well, you were like the average cool guy. Like, I just came up to talk to you. And it was like, some people were just like, why are you talking to me? Like, just notice me on social media. And I'm just like, you can't do that, because they will relate that to you being online as well, and they will not like that person. So a lot of times as an influencer, you have to prepare yourself from going out. Like, literally, like, even when I go to the grocery store, I'm prepared to talk to people.
Right.
There are like no more quick runs to do anything.
Sure.
Like, even the times I'm just like, all right, I'm just about to run to the bank. Hey, aren't you you do that thing with the food, right? You eat, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool Walker? Like, yeah, dude. Yeah, that's
Cool
me.
Walker.
Yeah, Cool Walker. Yeah, man. Watch your videos.
And you probably have to dress. You want to dress a certain way because
Yeah,
they're going
you
to be
do.
taking photos.
I was like, oh, because people will take, like, their angles will be off.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, people know me. Like, I would definitely say I'm that influencer that if your screen is dirty,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah,
we
you
were
saw
at
me.
that event. And
Like,
you
I
think I was
blasted
dirty
that lady.
Oh no, she was another lady.
I'm one of those people, like, if your screen is dirty, like, I don't mind having, like, compromise. Like, I might look ugly, but if your screen is dirty, I'm like, no,
It was bad.
take that down.
It was broken, too. It was like,
I was like,
glass
yeah,
was
can you
missing.
wipe that off? Like, I'm definitely going to ask you, if you take a picture of me and there's a dirty screen, can you wipe that off?
Yeah.
Thank you. It's like my pet peeve when it comes to, like, creating content.
Right.
Like, don't put your finger over the thing, please. Don't do that.
Yeah. Gotta be crispy.
Is there certain angles that you tell them to take too? Like be above. Do you think above down is the right move? Like hold it kind of above your head and do
Just
it.
don't poke your lips out. That's sassy. But yeah, other than that, that's
Yeah, no duck lips.
no duck lips. Don't do that. But no, I think everyone has their different angles. Me, I like above head more so than straight forward.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a long, like, Abraham Lincoln face. So I just be like, I don't like that. But you take it above, I'm like, there it goes. It disappeared.
There it is.
So I definitely like different angles, but mostly at the top. What else do I like?
You like to show off your goatee. You were telling me you've been growing that for a while.
What? I will brush it to like different sides and make it look fuller. So then I was like, you're going to get this work. It took me to 27 to get this. I had a mustache way before that. I was just like,
Yeah.
I had a mustache in high school, and I was like, oh, the rest is definitely coming.
Yeah.
And like a SpongeBob episode, 10 years later.
And it can't. So it's coming nice though around your chin.
What? It took me a while though.
Were you taking some supplements or something?
No, I wish. Yeah, my doctor just looked
Just
at me and just
comb
like,
it.
sir, not everyone has it. I was like,
Can your mustache get pretty thick?
yeah, it can.
Nice.
Like it can get like really
Like
thick.
bushy.
Yeah.
Like Tom
I
Selleck.
thought about doing it one time, but then I was like, I don't want to look like I pick up kids in the back of a minivan.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me leave that away.
you gotta fine tune it.
So our friends own Canva Nail Salon, and her husband, who I think he's so awesome. He dressed up as 50 Cent one year for the Best of Columbia party, and the whole night I was like, I have to get a photo with him. And Tom's like,
Yeah.
don't
Never
be weird.
met this
Don't
guy.
be weird.
You want to talk weird?
Yeah, but I was like, oh, his outfit's so good. I gotta go take a photo with him. And he looked just like 50. Like he had everything about him. So we took a photo together, and he was really cool. So then this year, he grew a mustache for the Wild Wild West theme, and it was so good, and I loved it so much. I
have a video of him tweaking this guy's
Wow.
mustache.
So yeah, you're
but
one
I
of
was
those
so
hands-on
impressed.
people.
Yeah, I was like, it was like a little
Yeah.
too much when I'm looking at
Yeah.
it, but I was just excited.
He was hands on.
He
He ended up
appreciates
pulling
my
his chaps
enthusiasm.
up later that night.
Oh yeah,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
yeah. His chaps fell down.
So he helped him.
Yeah, I helped him.
Oh
pull him
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Sure.
No,
I
was
that's-
a nice
yeah,
guy.
That definitely happens.
Now, honestly, though, that video, so I lost my hat that night. That video of him pulling up this guy's chaps broke the case.
Yes, and
I
it was a
see
nice
me in
hat.
the
You should
background.
tell
Nice hat.
people
It was a
really
Stetson
nice hat.
Good, nice cowboy hat. I'm in the background, had a few drinks, and I don't remember this. There's a block where it just disappeared. And I end up with 2 other people's hats on my head at the end of the night and not mine.
Wait,
Debacle. Yeah. I'm as confused
what
as
kind of
anybody.
magician? David Blaine?
So
What-
we started piecing together, like, wearing my hat. Oh, here's a photo of me not. And it was like 30 minutes. This video comes in of Randy hiking up this guy's chaps. And I'm like, oh, that's me in the background.
Why is that at the random time?
I
It's
know.
just-
I know.
Well, it was his wife thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like, it's raining, and you're just gonna let him with his chaps down.
He's sagging his
And
chaps.
instead of helping him, she videos me helping him, which
she
actually
set you
then
up.
breaks the case.
It
and
breaks the
saves
case.
his hat. We end
I
up
like
finding it.
zoom in, get this screenshot of me talking to a random dude, post it on my Instagram, and at the 23rd hour, Javier from Ratio, the chef at
Yeah.
Ratio, great. He's like, I think that's Chef Alex at the Red Dragon. I was like, sweet. Contact him. He's the guy. We must have swapped hats. And I got it later.
Did you ever figure out how you did it?
I asked him, I was like, do you remember? He's like, I have no clue. He's like, the last thing I remember is you yelling at my girlfriend to follow you on Instagram and about chiropractic care and vaccines.
Yo, that's a whole different
I was-
story when people
Yeah.
tell you to do that. Like,
And I was like, yeah, it sounds like what I would do.
Wait, what? Follow you on Instagram?
yeah, like they are aggressive.
Yeah, follow me back.
that's
Oh, it
Tom.
was.
Bro, that
Tom,
turns
I
into
bet
a
you
whole
50% of Tom's
No, they
Instagram
want. Ken, they
followers?
want it. They bring it up, and I'm like, yeah, follow me.
Mine's is like I see how women feel. Like people like, yeah, so follow me.
Yeah.
So I follow you. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, dude. I just no. I mean, like
No,
your
like,
phone
follow-
that you just had that you put in your pocket.
put me in there.
Yeah, just go ahead and pull that out and follow me. And I'll just be like, all right, man, I'm gonna do it right now. Okay, because I'm gonna check. I'm like, are you really gonna check while we're on site now? It's like,
Yeah. And
All
then you
right.
automatically unfollow though later.
all right, sir, here you go. Here's your check. Thank you.
Got it.
It's like, all right. Well, yeah, people are weird when they want you to follow them. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, follow all your content. So about that follow back.
Yeah.
Back.
All right. This is a real thing, people. I forgot. Cool.
Tom's 1,000th follower on Instagram was
Epic.
amazing.
Yep.
He'd been telling people all night, like, "Hey, follow me on Instagram. Follow
I'm
me
at
on
$9.99.
Instagram."
I was at $9.99.
Oh, okay. I see why then. Yeah.
Yeah. So we videoed it, and they were. It was like the
Like a Super Bowl.
celebration. Something massive happened, but we were all sitting there watching it, and then the person followed him, refresh, go to 1,000, and then everybody celebrates.
No, that 1,000. Like once you get to that number, it's kind of like different. Like it's two numbers I say like really like make or break you. The 1,000 and when you're stuck at 666.
Mm,
666.
yes.
It seems like no one wants to follow you when you're at
That's
like
a big one.
the number. You're just like, dude,
Yeah.
come on, like you gonna follow me? Like I had it happen. I was stuck at it for like a week
Ooh.
because someone
Oh,
followed
no.
me, then unfollowed me, and I was still stuck. I was like, do I have to create a Finsta account
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
this? Like,
Yeah.
because you won't have me at 666 when people come visit my profile. Like,
Right.
nah, we're not following the
That's
devil.
true. Well, actually, Finsta is a good segue because I didn't know about this until my niece moved here.
Uh-oh.
And she kept saying Finsta. And
I
was
didn't
like-
know what it is.
Eventually, I was like, what is a
Oh, I know.
Finsta?
Yeah.
And then she said it's a fake Instagram so that you have your real one. And then on your fake one, you can post, follow, comment, do whatever you want, but nobody knows.
It's always great when you know like some of your friends' Finsta accounts.
Right.
And you'd be like, I thought you said you were busy today, Mike. And all of a sudden, Mike has left the chat. Like, it's just like, I know you're Finsta. Like, I know you love baseball. Like,
So people tell you they're Finsta.
no, like I know all my friends. Like,
You
they
just
think they're
find
slick. Like, yeah, they just be like, oh yeah, I saw your thing. I'm like, well, if you saw it and I didn't see you, so you have a Finsta account. No, I watched it. Like, no.
No.
You would be in my top.
Yep.
You would be in my top.
Oh,
and you
that's
weren't.
good.
So yeah, fake Finsta accounts are like a thing.
A lot of people do that. It seems like I've never done it before, but
People are
I kinda
not
want to.
nosy, but they don't want you to be like, they don't want you to know that they're like
Right,
nosy.
right.
So it's like two feelings, like the people who like have Finsta accounts and the one time like you don't want to go on someone's story, but it clicks over. You're just like, I know
that
you're gonna send me a
is-
message.
That is detrimental.
That's detrimental. Like you just like, oh, or like it pops up on the top screen. You're trying to click something, and now you're on someone's live. You're just like,
Yes.
hey kid, thanks for joining. You're like, I didn't even mean to. It popped up.
they're giving you
Oh.
shout outs
Right.
and
I was
talking to you.
like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll be here for like 3 minutes. Like that's the weirdest thing. Like,
Yeah.
like TikTok, they was like, such and such just went live. You're like, boop. Oh, I was just trying to exit.
Right.
Now you're on someone's live and they're looking at your name. You're just like, oh, it's so weird.
Yes.
Hey, Ken, welcome. I'm like, oh man, hey, yeah, I definitely meant to be here.
Gotta go.
they want to share the screen with
Right.
you. They invite you to be
no,
in
no,
there.
don't do that.
Oh, they
Like,
don't do that?
No. I was just like, I had one person try to share a screen. I was like, no, I gotta hop off, man. My goldfish has a cough. It's crazy.
Now, have you ever taken any videos down because you've watched it and you're like, there's a booger in my nose or stuff in my teeth or dispute?
No, I have not
Kept them all.
I've kept them all. Even my most controversial video. I had a video and I didn't know until I posted it that the place had a C.
Had a C.
So like here, in Colombia they have like ABCs for it's like the report for like food
Oh, like
inspection.
the rating?
Right.
Oh,
And
God.
when I say that one got like probably the most engagement, like just out of everything, people were just like, did you see that they had a C? And I didn't notice it, but like when I was recording and I went back, I was like, oh, they did have a C.
How do they stay in business?
But the thing about it was half the comments were just like, I'm still gonna eat there. And the other half was just like, I don't go to any place that has less than an A. And they're just like, so you've never been to Waffle House? And so it was like literally like a clash. And I was gonna take it down. I was like, oh man, I didn't notice that they had a C.
I gotta
But
look
then
at
people
that.
were just like, yeah, and I'm still going tomorrow. I'm just like, oh, this is going a lot better than what I thought it would go.
What does a C mean? It means
It's a
that
grade.
it's filthy.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
means it's
from the health
dirty
department.
Yeah, from the
and
health
food
department.
poisoning.
Well, it's like if
could
you
be.
fail, then it's worse. But like a C is kind of like,
Like employees don't wash their hands
it could be
before
like
they come
something-
back to work.
Oh, yeah,
God,
there's
well.
just some stuff. Dude, you don't want it. And we should look at that more.
we should.
I
but
feel like to get a C in South Carolina, you got to do some things
dog,
really
that's-
wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. To me, I couldn't taste the difference. I couldn't take this, but like I've eaten at Waffle House my whole life,
Yeah.
and I've never once tried to look to see if they had like a great health rating.
That's I mean, New York with all the rats, I feel like there's
Yeah.
so much gross stuff happening in New York restaurants.
That's why I don't
too.
like in New York. If I go to like one of the stands and get like some type of like what's the white sauce they put on everything?
Mayonnaise.
Yeah,
Alfredo.
no, it's like some kind of I forgot the name.
Ranch.
Of it. No, they make it. It's like a dill sauce almost. They put it on like a lot of the dishes.
Oh.
And then a lot of the meat. I'm like, God, you all sell the same thing. I'm not gonna ask you where it comes from.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna assume that it's always good.
Yeah.
So yeah, as an influencer, do we watch what we eat? Yeah, you have to work out too, because like
Right.
I'll be on my 600-pound life.
Yeah.
What kind of Reggie are you on?
Literally, I say about 20 miles a week.
Nice.
Yeah, I
So
have
you're
to.
a runner.
Yeah, like I
And
can't
then
eat
you
all
do
that food all the time.
then you do your hair and your toenails and
No. Well, the lady does it. The lady, when I go there, she does it because she'll be like, "Yeah, I looked at your video," and she'll send me a DM like, "It's about that time."
she's got you.
Right, it's about that time.
She's got you.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten, or have you had anybody ever eat after you? Like, say you had a bunch of plates that you were trying, and then you sampled them, and like somebody comes in and eats,
Oh,
like a stranger.
Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach had to be like the other weird thing. Like Myrtle Beach, they invited me down, and like a lot of times the influencers, they put like 5 to 6 plates out
Yeah.
there, and so you have all these plates, but you're like, dude, I can't eat all this food.
Right.
And some random guy who was like at the next table, who was just like, "Are you gonna eat all that?" I'm like, "Nah, dude. Like, I'm about to get up and go." He was like,
Let me get some.
I was like, "I'm not gonna say anything."
Wow.
But yeah, they give you so much food that sometimes you just like, I want someone else to eat this stuff
Right.
because
Yeah,
now
you don't want to waste it.
Right, you don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
So you do stuff like that. Like I know I used to feed like the less fortunate downtown in Finley Park, and I would just like take over like the leftovers that I used to have on my cart and stuff like that, and I would just prep like sandwiches and stuff. And I used to do that all the time just to go down there because I'm not a person that feels like you should just waste food. You know, I'm always like, can I just give this to someone else? Like,
Right.
but then the city shut that down quick. They were just like, all right, like they're starting to get fat out there. Y'all can't be
Stop feeding the homeless.
That's like stop, and they put like a whole thing out there. They stopped me from coming out and everything.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I could not go out anymore. Like they were just like, you had to have a son. Because at the time, I hit the news and I was just doing it. And they did a news report on me. And they came out there when I was just feeding them. And I was just like, hey. And I was like, yeah, we see that you're out here often. Would you like to say anything? I was like, I'm feeding people. Okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like half of Columbia just wanted to start doing the same thing, which I didn't have a problem with. But then that's when the problem started occurring.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
now they were eating like better than me and you because they would just
Well,
be like,
we're like the only country that has overweight homeless people. You know what I
can see
mean?
that.
It's actually pretty wild. They eat a lot.
that
It seems like just based on body weight.
because we have I put it like this. We have, especially here in Columbia, we're gonna share food. Like
Yeah.
that's one of the things that's gonna happen. Like we're gonna come with food, and a lot of times because of how people were raised in the South, they're more willing to like share.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like I can't think of any cookout that I've really been to where people were like stingy. Just like, oh, you can't get this because we didn't invite you. Like they're always feeding someone. So that could be like the Southern hospitality thing.
Sure.
Like when you come to a spot and they have food, it's like, yeah, go ahead and eat. So that's just me. Like
Yeah.
I didn't feel like wasting food. And I worked at Pizza Hut too. It was,
Where do they get food from now? Like they shut you down. You can't go feed.
I
them.
think a church comes by. I think
Yeah,
only now a church can do it.
Oh,
yeah.
hey.
So yeah,
So to make sure that the food's not
yeah.
laced with anthrax.
I guess if they still have that. Like, I can't think of the last time someone
Said that.
seen a.
Or what? I can't. What was the reason they gave you? Literally the reason
No,
was
there's-
our homeless people are getting too overweight.
Yeah, there was just like we have to have some type of order. When I went out there, I was like, me and the church was like the only people that were actually doing it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they were just like, after my news report came out, I couldn't even get into the park because people were just like pulling up in vans, just like, oh yeah, we want to do it. And they were waiting on, I asked one guy, he was waiting on the news to come by so he can show that he was doing a good deed. And I was just like,
Yeah.
you know, as long as they get fed, I'm like, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that feel like you have to push a camera in everyone's face. So when I did it, it was just kind of like they reached out to me and I was just like, yeah, I do this. I didn't want it to get so big to where it became an issue. And then it became an issue. And I was just like, all right. And they stopped me from doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. If you ever get an opportunity to try to get our schools to eat better foods,
God.
that would be amazing. Because the stuff that they're eating is crazy. It's just high fructose corn syrup,
Yeah.
seed oils, and some sort of bread. All right. Like
Just some sort of bread. Yeah, piece a day.
yeah, really.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because you know that it tastes good, but they don't know any different. You know, if you're just eating sugar all day long, then you just kind of get used to that.
You do, and I think that's sad. Like even with McDonald's and everything, and then also like high school. I love going to high schools because like even when I do career day, I have like the busiest table because everyone wants to be like an influencer.
Cool.
I have like one of the busiest tables, and it's crazy because they can relate to me, so they see me all the time. But I also like to tell people if you have a kid that's out there trying to be an influencer, pay attention to their mental health because it can go south quick.
Right.
Like we're adults, and you got to think adults explode on like social media. And
You
you take
people roasting your nails.
right,
Oh,
like so.
yeah,
Imagine
handle
them
it.
Yeah.
with horrible nails. They haven't understood hygiene yet.
Yeah.
These kids will do all kind of stuff because they get paid. Like some of these kids have it figured out. Like they literally have created a channel. They're making $15,000 a month, sometimes more than that off a video, and they're trying to figure out why are you telling me to go get an education?
Right.
Sometimes they're right.
Yeah.
Like most education now is just BS.
Right. So it's like you're talking to someone and they're just like, yeah, my mom told me I should go to school, but I make this much. Like I said, I knew a kid, he had a Puma deal. And this is like because Puma has they do great deals. He was making like $20K and something happened, he ended up blowing it and he went into depression.
Dang.
So it's real. Like, yeah, I think $20K
Yeah.
Right.
Can come and go quick.
and you're 16. So, we understand money in a
Yeah.
certain aspect.
Yeah.
But them, they're just like, all right, my family's, living off this money. And now
Right.
I can't take care of a family. And I'm 16. You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But now everyone's looking at you like you failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's tough.
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes into it. But hey, I love it.
Right.
Look, I guess because I'm a people person, I tell people to call me.
Extrovert, like you're not an introvert at all, right?
No, like I will be like one of the first people like pop out anywhere and be like, hey,
Yeah.
what's going on over here?
Yep.
And they'll just be like, you talk to everyone. I'm like, yes, because I want to figure out what's going on.
And you can I think you have a good attitude about comments and being just like, yeah, if it's polarizing, it's fine. But
Do
a
you
lot
brother-
of people don't.
Did you grow up with brothers and sisters?
I'm the only child.
No way.
I'm an only child. And I think the only thing that really saved me was almost every other year of my life, I had like a camera in my face. So
Yeah.
like I used to do stuff for like the news stations in Atlanta. And then my mom, she used to babysit Left Eye's cousin.
That's wild.
And so she used to come to the house and she hired me to be her, like cut her grass. And it was crazy because like at the time that whole incident went down where, she set her boyfriend's spot on fire, but she was so sweet, like to everyone in the neighborhood. Like
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
like a real like nice lady. Like hey, she used to come out like when I used to cut the grass and sometimes it didn't even need to be cut. She'd just be like, just come cut it,
Yeah.
break up some leaves and stuff like that. She'd pay me like $100 every 2 weeks.
Wow.
She was like the epitome of like a great hearted person.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, she had a conversation with me one day and she was just like, you're going to go far because you don't complain about much. She was just like, sometimes I ask you, hey, can you do this and can you do this? And you just be like, cool. And I was like, I'm just grateful to have the opportunity. So I understand that not
Right.
every kid has this opportunity.
Yeah.
Like I used to go to school and kids would be like, you cut Left Eye's grass. And I'd just be like, yeah. But she was so normal and down to earth. And she would just be like, yeah, one of these days you're going to really see it pay off. And when
great.
she passed the day before my birthday. So my birthday is April 26th. She passed on the 25th. And that was like one of the hardest conversations my mom ever had with me. She came in the room. She was just like, yeah, I know you probably don't go to school today. And she broke it down to me. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, she introduced me to a lot because I think growing up on like the east side of Atlanta, Lithonia, Stone Mountain area, I think you're surrounded by a lot of great people at the time you didn't know were great.
Yeah.
So like you have Lloyd the singer that went to like my high school. And then you also have Childish Gambino who went to like Stevenson High School, which is like 2 minutes away from like where I stay. Then you also have people like Gucci Mane. You also have people like Future and stuff like that. And you're all on one side of town.
Yeah.
And then eventually you figure out like, wow, I really grew up with like around these people.
Sure.
And you're just like, oh, okay, cool. So you kind of become accustomed to certain things.
Yep.
Yeah. What's your most popular video? Do you know it off the top of your head?
Ooh. It's either Dave's Hot Chicken
Dave's Hot Chicken.
or
really?
the McDonald's commercial I did.
You did one for McDonald's?
Yeah, I did a McDonald's one, and it was crazy because that went into my point of stop trying to make perfect content in an imperfect world.
Yeah.
I filmed that on like my phone, and
Flip
it was
phone.
yeah, it looked like a flip phone. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this, and I put it together, and it was just like, boom, and then it started hitting like a couple 100,000, then it went to like 1.6 million.
Wow.
I was just like, oh,
That's
cool.
wild.
Then they hit me back up. It was like, God, that was good. I was like, yeah, see? Everyone else has got top production and crews.
Yeah.
But people really want authentic content. They don't
Yeah.
really want like well-polished stuff. Like the newer generation, because we kind of came up off of lies, your life doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
And the minute that you realize that is like the minute that your content really takes off.
Yep.
Like Instagram is like if you're dating, Instagram is like that date, like their first date. You're trying to improve and be the best person you are, show the best avatar. And like TikTok is like you've been together for a while.
You're wearing sweatpants.
Yeah, you're wearing sweatpants. The doors is open when you use the restroom. It's like all the good stuff that you're just like, wow, this shouldn't go viral, but it does.
Right.
So a lot of times, our people in our generation feel like, well, why is this? Because it's so cringy. It makes us do this. But to the newer generation, it was like, that's what we want to see. We want to see the imperfections in people.
Right.
Like people who go viral with their bed on the floor. I'm like, yeah, but we can all remember our first apartment where we didn't have furniture to like fully furnish as soon as you moved in. We didn't all come from that.
For sure.
So like people were just like, yo, I love that. And people were just like, well, wait, how come you don't like my mansion? Like, because we don't all have a mansion.
Yeah.
But we've all struggled.
Definitely.
So yeah.
And then I want to touch on two last things. One, just so we didn't even really get into real estate at all. Are you still doing a lot with real estate? And then how do you keep all of this organized? Like what with the events and the real estate?
I would tell anybody, I think the easiest part about it, which is probably to most people would probably be hard, marketing. Because I don't necessarily post videos about real estate.
Yeah.
I figured out how to dual market. So when I start off my videos, I'm saying, this is Ken Walker, the realtor, and then I go into something else. So I'm automatically telling you, this is what I do.
And they can find you
now
for that.
follow me.
Yeah.
So every time a video does great, over 10,000 views, that's 10,000 people that heard me say,
Sure.
this is Ken Walker, the realtor. So now, even when people ask me, like, so what do you do? I'm like, how do I start my videos? You're a real estate agent.
Yeah.
So it gets me a lot of new clients who are just coming in who are just like, hey, I followed your video when I first moved here. Can you help me purchase a home?
That's awesome.
Because people trust you. And like with real estate, you can have all the facts in the world.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, most people, I'll be like, hey, what's the difference between a real estate agent and a realtor? And they'll be like, I don't know.
Right.
So you being knowledgeable is great, but at the same point, you have to relate to people. So
Yeah.
I'm not selling you just a home, I'm trying to sell you the environment.
Yeah.
And more people feel comfortable because they're like, well, if you go to all these places, then you're able to tell me more about this home, the surroundings, and things of that nature. So
Sweet. So you're still, if people are listening, like, hey, I'm looking for a realtor, just
Yeah.
DM you, or what's the best way to?
DM me. Well, no, before y'all do that, I actually have the link in there to where you can go like directly to my website and just fill out the
Or
form.
like Linktree in your thing,
So
profile?
you can go straight there, do that. I have pretty much all my, even though people don't, man, if you're listening and you want to get in contact with me, I literally have it in my bio. Just click the link. It'll be a lot faster that way.
Yeah.
Because people be like, I've been sitting in your DMs for like 3 months. I'm like, dude, you know how many messages I get?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't send them a picture of themselves making
Yeah.
out with their
Maybe.
boyfriend
Maybe.
with their
No, I don't have
request.
that kind of channel. No. But I tell people I'm easy. Like even when you see me, just come up and speak. Like
Yeah.
don't be weird. And just like
Onions. Every time I see
Right.
it, I'm just gonna whisper onions in your ear.
what is like don't stare at influencers. We are real people. We worry about the same things too. It's like, why do you keep looking over? Is something on fire? Just
Right.
follow you.
And then tell the audience, this should be out before September 28th. You're doing a local influencers event here in Columbia.
Yes,
Tell us about that.
So this is called the Influencer. And the reason I'm doing this is so many content creators / influencers here, they don't know where to go. There's no common area for us to like mingle, mix, and collab and things of that nature. So it's kind of like, you know what? Let's give us like a spot that we can go to. You know, I'm just testing it out. And so far I'm getting great feedback from people from Charleston, Charlotte, and I think Augusta that want to come because they're just like, wait, what is a mixer?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, you're just talking to people. And I'm like, if you have a business, I'm trying to get you there too, because the best thing about it is these influencers are trying to figure out how to get into the market. If you have a small business, now you can actually attract, start talking to influencers like, hey, what don't you like? What do you like?
Right.
Because a lot of times that's a misinterpretation when it comes to brands and companies working with influencers.
Yeah.
A lot of times. And I will put it like, people don't understand how to book us.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So a lot of times they're just like, hey, I'm going to give you this free plate of grits.
Yeah.
You know I could buy that, right? And they're just like, yeah, but I want you to show it off on all your social media. And you have to tell, like, even now I'm doing coaching and I have to tell them that they're worth something because they don't think they are. So a lot of times they're just like, well, I was just gonna do a bunch of videos for them for free. I'm like, okay, how long does it take to edit? Like, you have to film. Like, you're a director, you're a
Right.
producer, you're a videographer, you're telling the story. Like, you're literally doing all these things, and you don't think that you should be paid for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's gotten so big now in the influencer market that people would rather hire influencers to come film their weddings.
100%.
They're just like, because
Wait,
you all,
for weddings?
For weddings, like influencers are getting booked for weddings because you're automatically telling the story when you do your
Right,
vlogs.
right.
So they're just like, I can pay, $2,000 to $3,000 for a videographer.
Yeah.
Or I can get an influencer to come in and tell the same story, and they kind of know how I want it to be on social media.
Right. That's
It's cheaper.
interesting.
It's awesome.
So yeah, once you figure that out, you just got to figure out your worth and things of that nature. Now I charge more than the average influencer, but that's because I've come with brand deals.
Yeah.
I come with everything, and I have to make sure that it fits my brand.
Yeah.
You trying to offer me money doesn't mean I'm gonna take it. It's just gonna be like, yeah, that's not a great fit
Right.
for my brand.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you know,
So you're encouraging anybody that is this an open event to
Yeah,
anybody that
anybody.
wants to come, and then businesses if they want to be there, just contact you.
be
Kind of.
there. Yeah, contact me. It's a free event. It's at Jay's Bar and Lounge or Jay's Bar and Grill, downtown in the Vista. And yeah, just come, enjoy, and talk to other influencers. If you're thinking about it and you're nervous, you don't necessarily want to talk to me. It's gonna be other people there that you
Yeah.
can talk to and things of that nature.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm the third hottest
Yeah.
influencer in Colombia.
Third hardest. Get in there now before he gets big. Once he gets number 2, you're not gonna know him anymore. So and I feel like that's what makes for a great environment, because I want to show people like it's just not a one style fits all influencer. Like, it's people from everywhere,
Yes.
every walk of life that can do this, and it's no need to be nervous. Like, Colombia, we're on the map now.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
people have to get with it, or they can leave. But it's more people coming in.
All right, tell everyone what your socials are and how to follow you.
Find your websites, all the good stuff.
Okay. Instagram, Ken Walker the Realtor, The Ken Walker Show, TikTok, Ken Walker Show, Facebook, Ken Walker. If you're looking on Threads, at Ken Walker the Realtor, Snapchat, I think I'm still under Ken Walker. on
Just
Snapchat.
Ken.
Yeah,
Just Ken.
just Ken. If you see a Ken and you see a guy smiling, that's probably me.
Lazarius.
Oh no,
Lazarius.
it's crazy. Only 2 people call me by my first name.
We're gonna start.
My best friend from elementary school, he refuses to call me Ken. He's like, well, when I first met you and your mom told me your name,
Yeah.
I'm stuck with that.
Yeah.
And my mom, when she gets upset, she just feels like, oh, so extra. But yeah, that's where you can follow me
Nice.
at.
Awesome. Well, thanks
Yeah,
for being
thanks
on
for
the
coming
show.
on.
We appreciate it.
Here
We're here for the health of it.
for the health of it.